Hello friends, so I just recorded this video like maybe 20 minutes ago, but after watching it, I decided it was kind of unlistenable because like the way I was talking, I was like stopping and stuff and like, I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to have to write down every single word I want to say, but if it comes to that, I guess that's what we're going to have to do because, anyway, see, I'm doing it, anyway, so my thoughts on Nirvana. So, just as like, do I like band Nirvana? Yes. Do I think they are overrated? Yes and no, which I shall explain. But anyway, so I was watching this video by this YouTuber called Become the Night, and I think he's rather sophisticated in his methods sometimes, And then he said that he doesn't really listen to the band Nirvana, right? And he doesn't like it, right? He doesn't like hate them. I think he said he didn't actively hate them. But anyway, so I was thinking like, darn it, I need to just, alright, anyway, anyway, so, I was thinking, like, why do some people like Nirvana, and why do some people, like, not like Nirvana, So I was thinking, so a lot of people, when they think about Nirvana, they really just think about Nevermind. So when you have people that say, a lot of people, when they say they like Nirvana, they're really talking about they like Nevermind because they heard Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it might even go so far as, oh, well, back in the 90s, I got the Nevermind album, and it was great, bro. Like, I listened to it every day in middle school, and it changed my life, And I'm not saying it didn't, right? And then you'll have people that do not like Nirvana. And then their basis for not liking Nirvana is Nevermind. And they'll be like, oh, well, this is blah, 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 right? When not to be a little egotistical, but when a true Nirvana fan, like, when I think about Nirvana, I think about more so, Bleach. I think more about, like, Bleach and In Utero, right? And, like, Incesticide, too. Because Nirvana themselves didn't even like the sound of Nevermind, because they thought it was too polished, right? And so, if Nirvana doesn't even like that sound themselves, then how can you make that the basis for your thoughts on their sound? But then again, why wouldn't you? Because it's like their best-selling album. And so John Frusciante said that Nevermind was punk for the masses, which I very much so agree with. Because it's like, it almost sounds less authentic, you know what I mean? Like, when you listen to like All Apologies or like something off of In Utero, you cannot tell me that sounds less. It sounds more genuine than Nevermind does. And I have, like, this theory almost, where, like, a lot of times you'll listen to a song by a band, you'll be like, okay, I'll check out some other stuff. You'll be like, well, this doesn't sound as good. I almost have, like, this theory where, like, if you're into, like, a band's, like, real sound, then you like more, like, their B-sides and stuff, But that if you're more into like a few singles and you don't like their real sound, then you like the singles because they're more like mainstream and more commercial, And so, not like a lot of people when they like Nevermind and they don't like the other albums, it's because they like how, not that it's poppy, but it's like it's not pop music, but it's like kind of poppy, you know what I mean? Nevermind. And so anyway, and then a lot of people, they'll say like Kurt Cobain is like a lyrical genius, and on a certain extent I do agree, but I think they're saying that for like the wrong reasons though, you know what I mean? Because like they read too much into it, you know what I mean? Because like I like to read into things, but like certain things, like Kurt Cobain has even said himself that the lyrics are like an afterthought, right? Like this one lyric from On a Plane: the black sheep got blackmailed again, forgot to put on the zip code. So this geniuslyrics.com website, they were explaining it from their point of view, right? And they said, Kurt Cobain here showcases his talent as a songwriter with some witty lyricism. Then they said, Cobain is using a metaphor to explain the mind state drug users and those suffering from depression feel. What he is really saying is that he is a black sheep, symbolic of an outcast or viewed different by society, and even though he is going through an extremely rough time, being blackmailed is really like extortion, where someone threatens you with something if you do not do what they want you to do, like we don't know what blackmail means, in which really he should only be seen as a victim, yet people are still criticizing him and saying that he can do nothing right, the zip code, which I think And then it says, Kurt often employed the idea of society blaming you for things even when you are even they are out of your control in his music, right? But then they had this quote by him saying, people expect more of a thematic angle with our music. They always want to read into it. And before, I was just using pieces of poetry and just garbage. You know, things that would just spew out of me. And most times when I write music, lyrics are just in the last second because I'm really lazy. And then I find myself having to come out with explanations. So they're acknowledging that he's saying there's not a whole lot of meaning to it, and then they try to explain that. And then they say, this song could be an example of, or a reflection on, like, it's almost like, it's ironic, but it's like almost like too ironic. Like the fact that, like, it's ridiculous. See, like what I see in that is the black sheep got blackmailed again, forgot to put on the zip code. Like blackmailed, like mail, like when you send a letter in the mail, then you put on a zip code. Like that's what witty lyricism. But anyway, and so those are my thoughts, right? And a lot of people, and then people who like don't like Nirvana, right? They'll say, well, a lot of people just say that well, for one thing, they'll say that they don't like Kurt Cobain's voice or whatever, and that, like, all that stuff, right? And then they'll say that, like, it's, like, bad and stuff, right? And then I always feel like, when it comes to, like, okay, so, like, a lot of people, like, if we're talking about, like, a technically good singer, I don't view that as much, or, like, a song, you know, like, a technically good song, as much as you could be objective about songs. What I view a good song of is off of how much, like, emotion it can convey, or, like, lack thereof in certain situations, you know what I mean? Like, anyway. And so, like, on a plane, right? The finest day that I've ever had was when I learned to cry on command. Even if that doesn't really, like, mean anything, per se, I would say that it evokes more of a feeling, like an emotion, you know what I mean? And because of that, I think that's why it's good. But then when I listen to, like, Come As You Are, right? And I never really liked Come As You Are. I kind of liked it this one time when I listened to, like, a 4D version of it. One of the lyrics is, like, take your time, hurry up. And I was listening to the lyrics, and I was like, this is kind of corny. Like, it was just today when I thought that. And I was like, I mean, But, anyway, if you want to hear some good, lyrics, there's this one song on Incesticide, which I love very much. It's called Mexican Seafood. One of my favorite songs, and I thought I would read the lyrics to you because they're so great. I wouldn't want to just keep them to myself, you know. I must share to the masses, you know. And so, allow me to just read this to you. Ah, the itchy flakes, it is inflaming. To the gels and creams, it is pertaining. True fungus mold, cured by injection. Hope, it's only a yeast infection. Oh, well, it hurts when I pee. Oh, well, it hurts when I see. And that's it, but not the whole song, but anyway. And so I just think that's just so great, you know. And then also, you know, there's one really good song, another one on Incesticide called Beeswax, which I will not read the lyrics to you now because which you would know if you listen to the song. It's very interesting to say. And so yeah. And then, yeah, so those are my thoughts, mostly. I think I put this on my Blink-182 video. I put how, like, when you think about Blink-182 and their image, how much of that can you say is actually them, and then how much of that is really just their managers, and how, like, the big up people around them want them to be viewed, you know what I mean? So, because I think I read, like, in this interview that they had, not the interview, but, like, this thing online, that when they were writing their album, for, like, before they Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, that one, that they hadn't made, like, some songs, right? And then their manager or whatever was like, well, blah, 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 but it's not, like, poppy, you know? So then when they made, I think it was, like, The Rock Show and First Date, they really just made it, like, almost out of spite. Like, hey, you want a pop song? Here's a pop song, you know? But, like, it's almost like how much of their image is actually them, you know what I mean? Like, because on a certain regard, Nirvana seems very, authentic, but then some different certain individual things, I just feel like sometimes, how much do you know is that actually them, and how much of that is not an act, but you know what I mean? And also, just my thoughts on, like, the first Nirvana song, like, not including, like, if I'd heard it on the radio, but when I first liked liked Nirvana. What happened was Smells Like Teen Spirit lyric video was in my recommended list on YouTube, because that's where I listen to my music on. And this is like right before I started watching like MTV Rock Block, and I started like getting more into like rock music, not like rock music, but rock music, you know what I mean? And so I listened to it, and I knew it was like a big song because I had heard it before, but not like I've heard of it. So I knew it was like a big song, but I didn't get like what was so good. Like I was like, well, what's the big point, right? What's the big deal? And then I listened to it again, and I was like, it's not bad. And I listened to it again, and I got it, right? And so this is not almost like unrelated, but I almost feel like to a certain extent, if I listen to a song and I like it, like the first time I hear it, it could be good, but I almost feel like it's too easy, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the songs that I really like now, I at first when I heard them didn't like them. And it's kind of like, not that I wouldn't respect someone's, well, not that if you don't like Nirvana that you are undoubtedly going to like them, but because I don't like all of the music, I didn't always like all the music that I like now. Not that that's the only reason why, but I respect other people's opinions when they don't like music that I like, you know what I mean? I don't know. See, this is why I should have wrote out what I was going to say. But anyway, when I recorded this the last time, I had like my yogurt in the video, so I thought I'd just bring it over here so I could have it in the video, because, I don't know. See, I don't really have anything else to say, so I think it's just end the video. So, have a nice day, and, yep.